सर्वेभ्यः. Welcome to this live doubt clearing session for the course Fundamentals of Siddhatva in Paninian Grammar. So it was a pre-recorded course which was uploaded in our portal since the past 3 weeks. We will start with the Mangalam. येनाक्षर समाम्नायमधिगम्य महेश्वरात् कृत्स्नं व्याकरणं प्रोक्तं तस्मै पाणिनये नमः. वाक्यकारं वररुचिं भाष्यकारं पतञ्जलिं पाणिनिं सूत्रकारं च प्रणतोऽस्मि मुनित्रयम्. I hope all of you have gone through the videos which have been uploaded in the portal. So there were 16 short videos in which we tried to cover some of the basic concepts of Asiddhatva. So the purpose of this course was to give an overview of the different types of Asiddhatva which operate in Vyakarana. So Asiddhatva is something that most students of Vyakarana come across quite early, say when we are studying the Laghu Kaumudi or the Siddhanta Kaumudi. So right at the beginning, we encounter Asiddhatva by Purvatra Siddha. And as we go through the various Prakaranas, different kinds of Asiddhatva are introduced under different concepts, different contexts. So I just try to bring together some of them together for a basic understanding. Right? So we have actually not gone into full depth in any sutra, honestly. So all sutras of Asiddhatva, whether it is Purvatra Siddham or Shatatapura Siddhaha or Siddhavadatrabhat, so they have a lot of subtle concepts. So Siddhatva itself is a brilliant concept by Panini, right? So he has created a system wherein, of course, the sutras need to know each other because he needs them to apply sequentially, but that sequence has to be broken or modified or controlled in a very fine manner. And Asiddha is one of the ways in which Panini controls that sequence. Okay. So there is a lot more to Asiddhatva, but I hope this course has given a basic understanding. So this session is purely for clarification of topics. So I did have some questions which were posed through email, etc. But if you have any questions, so we will just take it up. So at the end, so we will have around 45 minutes. If you have questions, we can discuss. And then towards the end, I'll let you know the details about the online assessment. So there will be an assessment for the course and you will get a certificate if you complete the assessment. So I'll explain the details of the assessment towards the end. So now, somebody said the voice is not clear. Is it better now? So now if you have questions, you can either type them in or type it through the chat window, or you can raise your hands and I'll unmute you and you can ask.
Am I now audible, Bhagini?
Yes, please do.
See, when you explain this Abhiya asiddhatva.
Mm.
In both the examples, I felt like you stressed upon the sthani and nimitta, anga nimitta karya. So is it that the two sutras should always have the nimittas like that only? For example, you told in Hujalbhyo Herthihi, he as sthani and anga as nimitta. In Shahau, he as nimitta and anga as sthani. So does always the combination will be like that only?
See, I mean, it can be that it can be the same sthani and same nimitta. That is, both of them have the nimitta or sthani. So what is samanashraya means? Ashraya should be samana. And when we say ashraya, ashraya can be the nimitta or sthani, the sum total of everything that is required for the sutra to operate. Right? So the sutra will be operating on the sthani. There can be one or more nimittas. Okay, nimitta need not always be one, but usually that is what we have. So there is the sum total of factors which are essential for the sutra to operate is called ashraya, and that combination should be the same for both the sutras. That is, for example, if one sutra has, say, 3 factors and the other sutra has those 3 plus something else, then it is not samanashraya. So on occasion he gives a definition: anyona anatirikta nimitta samudaya. So it should neither be less nor be more. So they should be dependent on exactly the same factors. And when I say factor, it can be as sthani or as nimitta. Either way is allowed, but that sum total should be the same.
Same. Okay. Thank you, Bhagini.
Arindam Saha.
Namaste, Bhagini. I just wanted to understand this concept that basically many of the Swarsandhis become asiddha after we use a Tripadi Sutra, right? Like in Ayadi Sandhi, so H-O-Y-A-V-A, yeah. That's after that, if we use Lopa Shakal, jese, what we have are 2 words which are where basically Yakara has been deleted. But after that, even then we have two swaras which can be in which Sandhi Karya can apply, right? Now my problem is that in many of the cases, when we speak or when we pronounce those words, it is natural that the resultant Sandhi Karya will operate. For example, if you do the Sandhi of Sarve and Eva, it becomes Sarva Eva. But if we try to pronounce Sarva Eva together, it generally, Avriddhi generally happens as we speak. So my point is, even though there is a Samhita, is it required to prevent the Sandhi, or how should we, in practice, how do you?
We never pronounce it as Arjuna Uvacha, no? Arjuna Uvacha. It is
but then is it not the case that the Samhita is broken? So the nearness of the
Arjuna Uvacha. So I split it because I was emphasizing on that point. But even when we are pronouncing in Samhita, the Sandhi does not happen in special cases. These are the cases where it is a distinctive feature of the language where the swaras are pronounced next to each other in Samhita without a Sandhi Karya. It is not common, but in special cases, it definitely is there.
Thank you. Thank you.
So Sarva Eva is definitely different than Sarvaiva.
Okay. Thank you.
R. Jairam.
Namaskaram. I got a question not on the content. I have not finished watching all the videos, madam. So my question is, will you be holding one more such live session before the exam, or this is the only session?
This is the only live session.
Okay, all right. So if I have some questions, can I email them to you?
Always send by email. I will.
Thank you. Okay, thank you so much.
64101. Is it either hu dhatu or jhal? Assume it is hujhalbhyo herthi. Yes, a hu dhatu and a jhalanta dhatu or the anga. The anga of hu dhatu or where the anga is jhalanta. So hu can never be jhalanta. So it is not that jhal qualifies hu. That is not possible. So jhalanta and hu dhatu especially. So the he is converted to dhi. If it is hu, for example, we have juhu dhi. Hu dhatu, we have juhu and he. So it becomes dhi, juhu dhi. Or a jhalanta anga, say chind dhi, it becomes a chind, he becomes chind dhi, chindi. Excuse me for just 1 minute. There is one more question. In 8.3.24, for example, 8.3.24 is Nashcha Padantasya Jhali. Does apadanta mean na padam pratipadika dhatu athava padasya yadante na bhavati? There is a nakara. Nakara is not at the end of a pada. Pada in Vyakarana is Suptingantam Padam or Swadnishva Sarvanamasthane. So there are other sutras. So if that particle has Pada Samnya and Nakara is end of it, it is called Padante Nakaraha. If it is not, that is wherever you have the Na, if that particle does not have Pada Samnya, we call it Apadanta Nakara. Pavamana Mulavaнаhalli.
Namaste. I'm not sure if there is doubt at all or not. So, tatra abhiya siddhatve तत्र भवत्या उक्तं समानाश्रयौ स्तः यदि द्वे सूत्रे अत एव असिद्धत्वं सिद्धति इति, परन्तु तत् समानाश्रयत्वम् आभीय अधिकारे एव वक्तव्यम् अथवा
सूत्रद्वयमपि आभीय अधिकारे एव भवेत् इति एकः नियमः, उभयोः समानाश्रयत्वं भवेत् इत्यपि।
तत्र कोऽपि एषः प्रसङ्गः भवति वा यत् समानाश्रयत्वम् आभीय असिद्धत्वे नास्ति, परन्तु अथापि द्वयोः सूत्रयोः मध्ये समानाश्रयत्वं भवेत्?
भवत्येव किल, बहुधा भवति। यदा अङ्गस्य प्रत्ययस्य कार्यं कुर्मः, अङ्गं प्रत्ययं च आश्रित्य बहूनि कार्याणि भवन्ति। तत्र यदा द्वे अपि सूत्रे अभियाधिकारे स्तः तदा एव अस्य असिद्धत्वस्य प्रसक्तिः, अन्यथा तु बहुधा भवति।
अन्यत्र यदि समानाश्रयत्वं भवति चेत् तत्र कथं सूत्रनिर्णयं भवति? परत्वं वा
परत्वादिकम् आश्रित्य भवति।
तावदेव। अस्तु, धन्यवादः। अन्यदपि एकं वर्तते, तत्र बहुषु स्थानेषु सूत्रेण सह वार्तिकम् अपि किमपि वर्तते स्पष्टीकर्तुं। तत्र त्रिपाद्यां तथा कोऽपि नास्ति वा इति? भवत्या न पाठितं, परन्तु अस्ति वा न वा इति।
त्रिपाद्यां वार्तिकम् अस्ति वा न वा इति प्रश्नः वा?
आम्,
भवन्त्येव। पाद्यामपि वार्तिकानि सन्ति। यथा तत्रैव अस्ति किल, यरोनुनासिकेन अनुनासिको वा इत्यत्र प्रत्यये भाषायां नित्यम् इति वार्तिकम् अस्ति। रसाभ्यां नोणः इत्यत्र ऋवर्णान् नस्यणत्वं वाच्यम् इत्यस्ति।
अस्तु अस्तु, तावदेव, धन्यवादः।
Give me just 1 moment. There are many people who say that audio is not very clear. Let me change my microphone. Just.
Okay, so we will take so Shadhi. There are a lot of questions by Shadhi. See, there are two ways of doing it. So the main, the intention of the Abhiya Siddhatva is to allow both sutras to operate. So what is happening in Shadhi is that, say for example, we have two sutras. So we have Shas and Hi, right? So there is one sutra, Shahau, which replaces Shas by Sha. Right? So if we do this Adesha, then it is no longer Jhalanta. So the sutra Hujalbhyo Herdhihi needs a Jhalanta Anga. So Jhal is Sakara. So if it is Shas, there is a Jhalanta Anga which allows the Hi to be replaced by Dhi. But if it is not Sakaranta, so if it is Sha, it is not Jhalanta, and therefore Hujalbhyo Herdhihi cannot operate. Okay, so that is the main problem. So we need actually both the sutras to operate. Okay. And then if we do Hujalbhyo Herdhihi, there is no Dhi. Right? So that is the reason where we are using Abhiya Asiddhatva, because both these sutras, Hujalbhyo Herdhihi and Shahau, they are both in the Abhiya Adhikara and they are Samanashraya. They are depending on the Anga of the Shas Dhatu and the Hi Pratyaya. So they are Samanashraya, and therefore the modification by one of the sutras is not known to the other sutra. Okay, so there are actually two pakshas here. So there is a question on why we did Hujalbhyo Herdhihi first. So the Param Karyam. So one of the arguments given in the books is the Paratvat. So there is, sorry, I forgot the number. Is 35 is Shahau and 101 is Hujalbhyo Herdhihi. So usually when we are operating in the Sapara Saptadhyayi, we do the Parakarya first. Okay, so that was how the Dhi was done. And then because it was anyway Asiddha, we do the Shahau. But there is also actually, because it is specifically Hau pare Shas dhatoho Sha adeshaha bhavati, we can make it Shahi. The Siddhanta Kaumudi actually gives Shahi. So this is by Shahau. And then again, this is Asiddha. Shahau is Asiddha to Hujalbhyo Herdhihi. So it still sees the Jhalanta Anga as Shasihi. And then you can operate Hujalbhyo Herdhihi. How can 64101 on Shahi give Shadhi? That is exactly the point of Abhiya Asiddhatva, that Hujalbhyo Herdhihi does not see Shahi. It sees Shasihi because it the Shahau is Asiddha. It does not see the transformation of Shas to Sha. It is basically that these two sutras are ignoring each other. So Shahau does not consider the transformation of the Hi, and Hujalbhyo Herdhihi does not consider the transformation of the Anga, Shas. So if it knows that Sha has happened, then it cannot operate. That is precisely the reason why we are doing Asiddha. Because this transformation is Asiddha, it still sees Shas Hi. There is a Jhalanta Anga and therefore it can convert. So Purvatra Siddham ityatra Purvatra iti shabdasya kaha arthaha? Purva shabdat saptamyarthe tral pratyayah. So Purvasmin sutre ityarthaha. So everywhere before this it is Asiddha. Kalyani Shekhar.
Mahodaya Namaha. Shwete.
Shweta.
Asiddhatvam has two roles. What we have seen examples relates to the first role, control a rule from operating in sequence. Are there any examples for the second role?
That is what the Shadhi itself is an example, right? So it is not preventing a sutra. So Asiddhatva has two roles. One is to prevent some other sutra from operating even when the conditions are present. For example, we can do say A plus O equals O, Gunasandhi in Arjuna Uvacha, but we will not do it because it is Asiddha. Whereas in Shadhi, you cannot do Hujalbhyo Hoerdhihi here because it is not Jhalanta after you do Sha Adesha, but you will still do it ignoring the transformation by Shahu. So you are helping Hujalbhyo Hoerdhihi to operate by masking this transformation. That is one case, whereas in case of the Lopashakalyasya, etc., you are preventing the Swarasandhis from operating by masking the change.
In Shadhi, even if the nimitta is taken away by, it's converted to dhi.
Yes, so in that order, yes, correct.
And that order. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So even when the nimitta is not there, it will still operate.
Okay. And then, ma'am, can you please explain the purpose of the sutra?
Is there, see, the akara, hrasva akara in ucharana is samvrita. So there is a difference between saying a with the open mouth and a with a slightly closed movement. So in practice, hrasva akara in Sanskrita is pronounced as samvrita. Okay, but if directly hrasva akara is told as samvrita everywhere, then it will not have savarnya with dirgha and pluta because abhyantara prayatna is different, and then we cannot do any of the karyas which require savarnya between akara. So for grammatical operations, all types of akaras are vivrita, whereas for prayoga, akara is samvrita. So that transformation of a vivrita hrasva akara to samvrita hrasva akara is done by a. So since that sutra is at the end of Ashtadhyayi, it is asiddha. So none of the sutras recognize hrasva akara as samvrita. They all treat it as vivrita, and therefore there is savarnya with the other akaras and so on. But while pronouncing, we will pronounce a hrasva akara as samvrita.
It is relating to the pronunciation only.
Yeah. Only the abhyantara.
But we have one sutra, ukalo, jhasra, rasva pluto, dirgha plutah. That is also for pronunciation, killer.
That is a samnya sutra. It defines what is hrasva, what is dirgha, what is pluta.
So not relate to that pronunciation.
That is a samnya only. Yes.
Samnya only. Okay. And then ashraya. In ashraya siddhatvam, that ashraya is directly depend on the sthani. Ru, the sthani. But in samana,
not necessarily in sthani, but yeah, I mean, there the ashraya means, yeah, I mean, in that context, mostly it is the sthani is generated by a tripadi operation. So in saman ashraya, yes, it is not just the sthani. It can be sthani or nimitta.
Okay. So ashraya differs.
Yeah. Correct. The term, the meaning, exact meaning.
Yes. And then one more doubt, madam. Anachicha. Tatra kevalam na achi ityeva dhattam asti kila. Tatra avasana api nasti. Parantu vak. How it becomes vak? That is my doubt. Anachicha.
कः सन्देहः तत्र अचि परे द्वित्वं न भवति इत्येव अर्थः. So ach agre ach nasti chet bhavati. It doesn't say avasanam bhavet. It just says achi pare dvitvam na bhavati. So if there is no ach, so if you have just vak, there is no ach following, then we will have dvitva.
So na achi, it means hal. It may be hal. It may be avasana.
Correct.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Dhanyavadaha Mahodaya.
Okay. Okay. If both sutras do not see each other, then there should be two forms. Is that correct? No, no, no. That is not the case. In all cases of asiddhatva, just because the sutra does not see each other, it does not mean that there will be two forms. We are actually operating and we see both sutras. We know both sutras and we know the transformation which is done by both. It is just that for applying Hujalbhyo Herdhihi, we temporarily don't consider this transformation, but the transformation actually happens. Okay, so it has already been done. We are just ignoring it and we are doing the transformation by the other sutra. So there is only one correct form, not two forms. Okay. Bharat.
Namo Namah Mahodaya. I have a question regarding the order of the sutras. I was trying out an example in Lund Lakara. Okay. Now Lund Lakara with the Ksa Pratyaya, I was trying. Liha.
Is this related? Sorry, but is this related to Asiddhatva?
Asiddhatva, yeah. I will finally bring it to Asiddhatva. But okay. My doubt is the order of sutras that I use in deriving the final form. Now, in Tripadi, a later sutra is applied first and the earlier sutra is applied later. And
no. Not in Tripadi.
I mean, in this particular process, I have done that. And still it works. Let me give the example, maybe you will understand. Okay. Now, Liha plus Sat.
Liha plus Sat.
Pratham Purush Ekvachan. Liha plus Sat. Now, there that it will become Alikshat. Straight. Now, there is a sutra which says Lugva Duha Diha Liha Guham Atmanipade Dante. In Atmanipade form, now the Sa gets a Lopa. Out of the Sa, that Sa remaining, that Sa also gets Lopa. So it becomes Liha plus Ta. Right? So now with the Hoda, the Ha becomes Dha. And Ta becomes Jasastatorgaha Gha. Now Hoda is 8 to 31. Jasastatorgaha is 8 to 40. That's all right. Now this Dha becomes Dha. Dha becomes Dha with Strunastu, which is 8441. That's also okay. Because it's a later sutra, right? It can. Now what happens is Lid Dha is the thing. Now Dhoda comes, which is 8313. After 8440, after 8441.
It is Ashrayat Siddhatvam.
Ashrayat Siddhatvam, right? So this can work.
Yeah. Ashrayat Siddhatvam works there.
So 8313. So it becomes Leadha. And after that, Dralope Purvase Dirghana, which is a Sapada Saptadi.
Which is again, it up a double Ashrayat Siddhatva in all cases of Dralope, Dhalopa and Dirgha.
Yeah. So this is because of that Ashrayat Siddhatvam, right?
Ashrayat Siddhatvam.
Siddhatvam. Yes. Okay, I just had this question. Nothing. Thank you.
Veena Suresh.
Namaste Bhagini. असिद्धो दत्राभात् इत्यस्मिन् अधिकारे यानि कार्याणि उक्तानि तानि सर्वाणि आभीयकार्याणि इति वक्तव्यं वा? आभीयम् इति अर्थः कः?
आभात्. So bhadhikaram abhivyapya abhiyam ityuchyate. So anything that belongs starting from 6422 asiddhavadaptrabhat till the end of bha adhikara is called abhiya karya.
Avagatam bhagini. Dhanyavada.
Panchanadam Swaminathan.
Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, yes, I can hear you.
I think you went through this one, but I still have this perplexing question. Shahi, Shahi, Shahi. If the end product is Shahi, why do you need the middle step at all? You said it happens. How do you know it happens? Can you not directly apply Hujal PhD?
You will still have Shasadhi.
Oh, okay. The Sakara should be absent because of the second step.
Sorry?
The Sakara is absent because of the second step.
Yes.
So you have to apply the second step.
Yes,
and
yes,
then,
yes.
And then it, because it is a Hasid, that's why it goes back and applies it. Even the Sakara is there or not, it still applies.
Yes. Correct.
And then the same question, we discussed the order of sutras and all this. It's not only necessarily order, the Hasid Tattva goes backward also, correct? So you go and apply 8.4, and then if something happens on 8.3, even though we know it's exists, it still doesn't know. So it forgets what happened in the past, and it also forgets what's going to happen. It only takes care of what is happening at that
Sorry, I didn't get that.
Asid Tattva, it means it doesn't know anything that's coming forward, correct? Purvam Prati. So
Purvam Prati Param Shastram Asiddham. Yes.
Correct. That means if I'm in 8.4, we have already gone through the 8.1, 8.2, 8.3, and 8.4. So we know everything up to 8.4, that's sutra. That means if there is a sutra that applies on 8.3.2 something, does 8.4.2, doesn't it not remember that? Or one of
it does. It knows everything which comes before it. It only doesn't recognize what comes after it.
Okay, that's the case. Will we not apply the rules of the one that has already happened? Because you said it doesn't even remember it. I think if it is Anachisha or the Loka Saukal, it said, even though this is happening, it does not know what was there in the previous one. So
it does know. I mean, see, I don't know what exactly you mean it by it doesn't remember. So every sutra knows everything that is happening before it in the Tripadi. I mean, in general, any sutra in the Sapala Saptadhyayi can see like all operations except the Tripadi. So the general assumption is that the sutras will know all the transformations that are happening.
That has happened, and then it is right now, when I am at the later step, it knows what happened in the previous step. Will it still use the sutra's rules? That's my question. Will it take that into account? Will it take into account the rules of the previous past sutras?
It doesn't need to take. See, what a sutra needs to operate is the conditions which are required for itself. That's all. It doesn't bother about the conditions of other sutras. As long as the conditions for itself to operate are present, it operates.
I'll take this offline because one of your lectures, remember, you were saying that one. I have, since I don't know the exact, I don't know the way.
I mean, I think you will have to give an exact example or a context, because it's otherwise we won't be able to tell what exactly it is.
I will. Thank you. Dhanyavada.
Okay. If a sutra is not visible, what is the function? How it helps in prayoga? It is not visible to the sutras. Prakriya drishtya. So the sutras operating do not recognize, but we as the users, we are the one who do the prayoga. We know everything. Basically, the whole in the whole concept of asiddha, we need to understand that we know everything that is happening. When I say lopas shakalyasya is asiddha, it does not mean I don't know lopas shakalyasya. It is just that for the Swarasandhi sutras, lopas shakalyasya is asiddha. As the Vakta, I know everything. Right? So even whether it is an Abhiya Siddhatva, Bahiranga Siddhatva, we know exactly what has happened. We are just it's like attempting to personalize the sutras. It is saying Adgunaha does not recognize. But I, as the user, I know that there is a sutra, Lopashakalyasya has happened, and that is why I do not pronounce the yakara. So similarly, in I know that the Vivrata has been converted to a Samvrata, so I will pronounce it as Samvrata Akara.
Namaste, Bhagini. In the Nalopa Pratipadikantasya, the sutram that tells only for the 4 categories that it is asiddha, but that itself is defined in the Purvatra Siddham, right? So the Niyama Sutras are visible to the Sapada Saptadhyayi also. Like Akattavarni Dirghaha happens because it is that Raja Ashwa is not coming into one of the categories, and Nalopa is not a siddha, we are saying, right? So, but
if it is not known, then I mean the whole sutra becomes pointless. No, it doesn't serve any purpose. So basically, when we say Purvatra Siddham, and whatever modifies the asiddhatvam is known by the relevant sutras. Otherwise, those sutras would be vyartha.
Okay, I was wondering why didn't he put it in the Sapada Saptadhyayi, or maybe these Niyama Sutras will always be visible?
See, I mean, it needs a context. For a Niyama, you should always need the Utsarga. It is modifying Purvatra Siddham. So without declaring Purvatra Siddham, you cannot impose a restriction on Purvatra Siddham, right? So only when he said Purvatra Asiddham, then that section became Asiddha, and then he said, okay, there are a few modifications to the Asiddhatva.
Oh, okay. So, okay, anything
so
related
if you just
to
put
the...
Nalopa Supswara somewhere, you don't know what it is doing.
Okay.
So you need the Vidhi and then the Niyama Vidhi or whatever, the actual Purvatra Siddham, and then the restriction on Purvatra Siddham.
Oh. Astu Bhagini. Dhanyawad.
Sharada Gopalan.
Deva. Namaste, Bhagini. I missed quite a lot because I was unable to join, even though I waited 5 minutes before, but still the voice was not coming through the computer. Finally, I am happy that I could join at least the fag end. I wanted to know what you said because I missed out about the theory test and the multiple choice. When is it going to be? Did you say anything about it?
No. I will tell it. So I will finish the questions, and towards the end, I'll explain about that.
Then I have one more question about this Amuna. Amuna, there is a bit of difficulty in understanding this Muttuvam, and can you please explain that once again?
So yeah, I mean the concept itself is a bit difficult. I mean, if we have, we will do that in the Subanta Prakriya. So Amuna is basically, we have Adas. So there are a set of sutras. So there is first Yadadina Maha, which replaces Sakara with Akara, and then there is a Pararupa. So we have Ada A. So Adasoser Dadudo Maha says that the Dakara is converted to Makara and the Akara is converted to Ukara. So that is why we call Mutva. Mutva is Makara plus Ukara being given as the Adesha. So the converted to Ma, and the letter Akara after the Dakara is converted to Ukara. So we have Amu and A. Okay. So this.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Then I can understand how it comes to Amuna.
Okay.
Thank you.
Jai Shri Shankar.
Namaste, Bhaini. I just wanted to know, you have said, first is, how will we write these assignments in Sanskrit? Most of the explanations are in English. We are not following any
Sanskrit. I mean, it is an English one. If you want to, there are some people who want to write in Sanskrit. So
we
Sanskrit
want to write,
okay.
But converting some of these technical terms to Sanskrit might become ridiculous, I felt. So I wanted to confirm that with you. And the point Yeah. So the point now is, you're in the two conditions. One, previously also one person asked, there is the second condition where that asiddhatvam can, or the control mechanism works is, it can allow a rule to operate even if the nimitta, the condition is not present. Correct? So I did not come across any such example. I mean, or did I miss it out? I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I went through the
just
video.
now. I mean, Shadhi itself is that example, right?
In Shadi, the nimittans
is
there,
jhal,
right?
jhalanta. Hujalbhyo herdhi needs jhalanta. So if you convert shas to sha, there is no jhalanta.
Okay. This Shadi is again another big question. I think we discussed it a lot in the group also. When we are explaining this Shadi, can we say towards the last step, like for example, Shas get converted to Sha, and he gets converted to Dhi. So can we say that it is happening parallelly, not like there is no first or second?
Yeah, I mean, basically it is happening parallelly, but when we are actually writing it, we do represent it one after the other. Basically, both of them operate ignoring the other one.
Yeah, but when we write one after the other, any order is okay, or should we go by the order of?
In this, both are there, but Siddhanta Kaumudi prefers this order. So there is also one more text. I don't remember from where I got the original one, which had Dhi and then the Shahi, Shahau. But I checked after all this, the Siddhanta Kaumudi does the Shahau first and then Hujalbhyo herdhi. As long as both of them are operating, it is okay.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay. Nishikant Pandey.
Namaste Mahadaya, Pranamah.
Yes.
Mahadaya, mama जिज्ञासा अस्ति एतत् यद् असाइनमेंट कृते रूल्स अस्ति यथा रिटन असाइनमेंट 50% भविष्यति तो तद् यदि यत् कक्षा पूर्ववद् तद् अधिकृत्य वा न इदानीं पर्यन्तं यद् यत् चलति सर्वं नीत्वा
इत्युक्ते अस्मिन् वर्गे यद्यत् पाठितम् अस्ति तत् सर्वम् आधारीकृत्य भवति। अहं वक्ष्यामि इदानीं प्रश्नान् समाप्य अग्रे वक्ष्यामि। सो अस्मिन् असिद्धवर्गे यद्यत् पाठितं तत् सर्वम् आधारीकृत्य भवति। तावदेव वर्गाः सर्वेपि आरोपिताः सन्ति। इतः परं केऽपि वर्गाः न सन्ति। 16 दृश्यांशाः ये सन्ति तान् अधिकृत्य भवति। Okay, so there are a few questions. Okay. शास्त्रस्य असिद्धत्वं वा कार्यस्य असिद्धत्वं वा शास्त्रस्य इत्येव शास्त्रासिद्धत्वम् इत्येव सिद्धान्तः। अत्र पूर्वत्र सिद्धम् इत्यत्र असिद्धवदत्राभाद् इत्यत्र सामान्यतः वृत्तौ अभिये कार्ये समानाश्रये तस्मिन् तदसिद्धम् इति वदन्ति. So it doesn't make a difference in many of the cases, but as I said, if the karya siddhatvam, there is a problem, a very, very subtle thinking, and therefore shastra siddhatvam is given as the siddhanta. So there is another question related to karya siddhatva. If the siddhatva is on karya and not on shastra, by purvatra siddham, the sutra is visible but not the karya. In that case, if we consider manar rathaha, how Rory will operate and lopa obtained when the operation is deemed asiddha? See, what we are saying is, say we have, so manar and rathaha, so there are two possibilities, right? So in manar plus rathaha, we have the possibility of applying two sutras, hashicha and Rory. Right? Both of them, the conditions for both hashicha requires a ru preceded by Hrasva Akara and followed by Hash. Rori requires a Repha followed by a Repha. Conditions for both the sutras are satisfied. So now there is a conflict between sutras. Should I apply Hashicha or should I apply Rori? So when there is a conflict between two sutras, how do we resolve them? We resolve them by Vipratishedhe Parankaryam. So if there is Vipratishedha, Tulya Bala Virodha, then we go for the Para Sutra is what Vipratishedhe Paramkaryam tells. So now assuming there is no Shastra Siddhatva, which means that Hashicha, the sutra which is in 6.112 or 13,
14.
It recognizes 13. Okay, thank you.
14.
14. Atorora Prutara is 13 and Hashicha is 14. And Rori we have an 8, 3, 14, 15, whatever.
8, 3, 15.
So now if Hashicha recognizes Rori, what we say is it will give way to Rori because Vipratishedhe Paramkaryam says the Parasutra should operate. So it will, we will have to pick Rori first and therefore do the Lopa. That is the reasoning, right? And then even if we say the operation is Asiddha, that is the transformation is not known, right? So we do Mana Ratha by Rori. The transformation may not be known, but still Hashicha, it's like they have both come into a contest here, Spardha. So Hashicha sees Rori, it thinks, okay, it is a Parasutra, and Hashicha goes away, right? Now Rori operates. Now, even if I say the operation is Asiddha, you cannot bring back the Repha. That is what is given by the Devadatta Hantra Hatan Nyaya. So we can still do the Vipratishedha, that is the key point. If it is not Shastra Siddhatva, Vipratishedha will still operate. But when I say Shastra Siddhatva, this Shastra itself is not recognized. Hashicha does not sense that there is a Parasutra and therefore it will take over and operate. Is there any technique to find out that the word consists of a Pratipadikam and Padam similar to Rajan? There is no technique. It is basically we need to know how the word is coming from, right? So know the Pratipadika and the transformations which are there. There is no technique as such, but once we learn the basics of Subanta Prakarana, we will know. How do we know when to stop in Purva Para Nitya Antaranga Apavada Uttarottaram Baliyaha? You cannot stop until you find that something does not apply. Right? I mean, say we find first Parasutra, but then we also need to check for Nitya. If Nitya does not apply, then we stop at Para. So if Nitya also applies, then we have to check for Antaranga. Actually, we can check the reverse also. We check for Apavada always. So if it is not Apavada, we can consider Antaranga Bahiranga and then whether it is Nitya. If not, then Para. So always in applying, we consider the Apavada as the first one. I think I have this Sri Lakshmi Bhagini.
So Bhagini, I just have this. Asiddham Bahiranga Antarange. So it doesn't depend exactly on the sutras, right? It just depends on the context. Like there can be examples where the two sutras which were not Asiddha to each other can become Asiddha in the given context.
Correct. It is not the sutra itself. It is basically the context. For example, it is not that Guna Sutra is Asiddha to whatever. So it is basically in this particular context, since Guna depends on an external word. So if there was a Guna inside the word or earlier itself, then it could have been Antaranga and the other one could have been Bahiranga.
So,
I mean, hypothetically.
It becomes quite a challenging without like, either the question should be raised by the teacher or we should go wrong.
Siddham Bahiranga Antaranga is like a huge
Yeah.
It's not very easy.
Yeah, it's not easy. Yeah, that's what I just wanted to ask, because otherwise we may get lost in case of other prakriya if we understand the asiddhatva. But here, naturally we don't get the problems unless it is very obvious, right?
Yeah,
So,
here, yes, it is something, but there are some cases where we do have it does come over instinctively that whether should I do this or should I do that. We can easily pick by looking at the antaranga bahiranga. It is obvious in some cases, not very in some cases, and yes, there is a lot of complexity with that. So I just wanted to introduce it. So it's, as you said, for a student, like say if I teach Purvatra Siddham today, then yeah, I mean, most of you can go back and then apply Purvatra Siddham in cases. But Antaranga Bahiranga, even today, I also need to look at the Vyakhyanas and check it. So.
Yeah, I had one question. See, sometimes when we are going through all these examples and all, we see that we want one form, and that form, how to arrive at the form is being decided as we go along, the prakriya. Am I right in saying that? Is the final form, like, we aim at something and then we go through that. Is this correct?
Yeah. Vyakarana itself is like you have to know the prayoga. Prayoga sharanaha vyakaranaha. You cannot randomly apply sutras and get at some prayoga. Prayoga is the guideline. So we know what is the prayoga, and then we are seeing how it operates within the system. So Paninian Vyakarana, never prayoga, I mean the final form. The final form should be known.
That which has been used in some sort of shastras before, prior.
Shishta Prayoga, right. So Shishta Prayoga is the deciding factor for Vyakarana, right? So we do all sorts of circus literally to make sure that Vyakarana follows Shishta Prayoga and it is not the reverse.
So we are trying to say that Shishta Prayoga cannot be wrong.
Yes.
It has to be correct. And so how it can be correct is what we are doing, especially when we did this Asiddhatvam, a lot of such questions cropped up.
Yeah. It is correct.
Yeah.
So the Vyakarana is based on Shishta Prayoga, and it gives a guideline for us. Like we are not Shishtas as in the defined sense. So for us to know what should be correct, by knowing and understanding the sutras, we will be able to predict it. Right. So one way, of course, is like native language, where you can instinctively get the correct one, especially if you are exposed to shishtas everywhere, then you would probably naturally pick it up. But since we don't have that, the grammar, the Shastra gives a framework with which we can get to the Shishta Prayogas by understanding the framework.
Ma'am, there is one small question. Under
yes.
You asked us to look for specific vartiks for the exceptions. I was just checking the Kashika. I could see only one vartika there, like Samprasarana needs Supratishodo Vaktavya. That is the only vartika. Ma'am, I think you are muted. Your voice is not heard. For last 2-3 minutes, whatever you spoke.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know how it got muted. Yeah. So there is this Vartika, which has 3 particular cases, right? So 3 cases in which there is Asiddha. Sampasarana, Ni, and It.
Correct.
Yes. Okay.
Mahabhashya, if you see, there are so many Vartikas.
So Mahabhashya, that's what. So some of them are, most of them will be contested or disproved by the Bhashyakara. So what we take as actual Vartikas are only those which are accepted in most of the cases by the Bhashyakara. So because the number of Vartikas in many of the sutras, like the Vartikakara himself, he goes on debating with Vartikas. So what we take as Vartikas are not all the Vartikas in the Mahabhashya.
What is the authentic reference for Vartikas actually? Where should we be finding it?
No, there are actually two differences. One is, of course, what is given in Kashika, and the other is what is given in the Kaumudi. So, and there are differences between them. So there is no, we don't have an independent Vartika Patha. And
if you see the Kaumudi for this Shatvatukora Siddha, there is no Vartika given under that.
Right. So the Vartikas given in Kashika and Kaumudi also vary. Also, because the Kaumudi is, reordering, sometimes he may put that Vartika somewhere else where the context matters. So it is difficult to find a Vartika related to a particular sutra in the Kaumudi. I mean, the Vartika may be there, but positioned in a different place.
Positioned in a different place.
So, but Kashika, usually he will have it. Most of the Vartikas related in the same place. And that is the best among whatever is available.
And for the same Vartikas, the wordings are slightly different in different. If you say the Bhavabodhini and all, Nyasa and all, slightly it is different than Kashika.
Yes, yes. So there are, as I said, because it was not an independent text. So what is given in the Bhashya, and again, sometimes the Kashika Kara also, he combines like say two Vartikas into one and gives it like, if they are both referring to the same thing and so on.
But Kashika should be fine, right?
Yeah, that is the best reference, as I said, not the exact maybe, but for the general idea of the Vartikas, yes, Kashika is the best one.
And is there any Kashika written in with English translation? I mean, popular one like
Kashika with English, no, I don't.
Because sometimes I find that understanding Sanskrit explanation in Kashika is, I mean, we get lost in that itself, then we get fed up.
Yeah, it requires a bit of practice to understand, definitely. I don't think there is an English translation so far. There is only for Siddhanta Kaumudi.
In any other Indian language, there is something.
Hindi should be there. I will check it out. You can just drop an email. I'll check it out and let you know.
Sure.
Okay. So since it's already past time, so if you have any other questions, please feel free to raise it in the discussion section in the website, or you can drop an email to me directly, soumya.krishnapur@vyomalabs.in. So I'll very quickly tell you about the assignment or the course ending assessment for certification. So as mentioned, I hope everybody has seen this document. So this document is there in the course page, right? So as the first one. So if you haven't seen it, please go through it. So this bulletin board and important course information. So it has the upload and assessment details. So please go through it. So there will be two parts to the assessment. So the first part is an assignment, a written assignment for 50 marks. And the second one is an online multiple choice assessment, again for 50 marks. You have to cover both for a certificate. Right? So the written assignment, as I have mentioned, is an open book type, and you can write in English or Sanskrit. Since the course has been in English, you can obviously write in English, but if you want to try in Sanskrit, you are welcome to do so. You can refer to any of the commentaries, but you cannot copy directly from anything, right? So please understand, it's very obvious when you are copying, honestly. So of course, you can mention exact sutrarthas, etc. as they are, the vritti. But the main intention in evaluating the assignment is to see if you have understood what is given. So if you repeat my own words, or if you repeat something which is given in the website or any vyakhyana, it would be evident, and that is not what is expected, right? So even though the website may have a lot of information, you are expected to read, understand, and represent it in your own words. So you have to write, if there is a sutra, you have to explain the sutra, explain the examples and all that. But the main intention of it is to make sure you have understood the concept, right? So because there is a lot of emphasis on sutra numbers, etc. So you can look up all that. That is not an issue. But the main concept should be written, explained clearly in your own words, either in Sanskrit or English. So you can either type the answers or write it. So if you are typing it, say in Word, just convert it into a PDF. If you are writing your answers, it is fine. Take photographs, clear photographs. Okay, so even in the assignment which we gave for Laghu Kaumudi, so there were some cases where I cannot read what is written. It's very blurred. Or there are cases where, say, one page is like upside down or turned. So please look at the final document and make sure you are able to read it. Okay, it's very difficult, though we did not reject any assignment for that reason. It was very, very difficult. So it should be, the pages should be in the correct order. So I have seen assignments where you have 5th page first and then 7th page and then 1st page. And I have sometimes made an effort to correct it also for the effort, but all this makes it much more difficult. So please put it in the correct order, make it a PDF. Okay, you can ask some of the friends if you are not sure of how to do it, or you can even ask me if you have a problem. But please make sure the final document is a single PDF file with all the pages in the correct order, in the correct orientation, clear enough to read. So only one PDF file, and please name it with your name so that it is easier to identify. Okay, so this one you will be able to upload it. The assignment is still not up here. So, but once we set it up, there will be in the course page. So at the end, there will be something called online assignment, and you will be able to upload your answers. So if you need help with how to do it, so there will be a help video. So please go to the help videos. So under students video, so learning page and course related. So submit an assignment, right? So submitting an assignment and viewing marks. So there is a detailed video guide. So if you have any questions, please watch it, and then you will be able to answer the assignment. Okay. From tomorrow, right? From tomorrow morning till Sunday. So you can take the time, you can read the questions, and you can take your time to write and upload the assignment. So please don't cross the deadline, because it's a short-term course and we are working on very tight deadlines. It will be very difficult if you come back later to submit it. So please make sure you submit the assignment before next Sunday. It will take about 3-4 weeks, and we will evaluate and assign the marks. The online assessment will be open on both Saturday and Sunday. So from Saturday morning 6 a.m. Indian time till Sunday night 10 p.m. Indian time. So for those who have written the Laghu Kaumudi exam, so it will be in the same section, right? So under exams, you will have a Siddhatva exam, which will be available. It is not yet set up. So right now it will not be there, but it will come there. So like this, you will see, and you will be, if you just click on the attempt one, you will be able to attempt it. If you have not taken any online assessment in our new website so far, so I would suggest you just go to the Laghu Kaumudi course and take any of the assessments which are available there. So the format, etc., will be the same. So between that, you can attempt at any time. You will get 45 minutes. It will not be a long paper. So there will be probably 25 to 30 questions. So you should answer within 45 minutes and you will get only one attempt, right? So please don't ask for sample questions. Already the syllabus is so small that I have difficulty in getting questions. So it's whatever we have covered. Okay. Is there any reference material for Asiddhatva other than the uploaded material? The website. So if you go to the website for any of the sutras, you will have a lot of material. There is no other material as such. Okay. So just one more thing I want to tell about the assignment. So the assignment is ready, so I can show you right now. So basically, there are two parts, right? So the first part is everything that we have learned in the course. So it is from whatever we have seen. So you have to answer any 3 questions, right? So there are 5 questions. So A and B is together 1 question. So there are 5 questions of which you have to answer any 3 questions. And there is another section which contains material which we have not directly covered in the course. Okay, it is related to Asiddhatva, but we have not studied it directly. So what is expected is you go to these particular sutras, you try to understand them by yourself, and you try to represent it. Okay, so you have to explain only one. So there are 3 questions of which you can choose one, and you have to explain that in detail, as much detail as you can. For the first section, out of 5, you have to answer 3. Okay, so that is the assignment. You will get it tomorrow morning. Okay. I hope it's clear. Any questions about the... Yes, Sharada Gopalan, you have a question?
I have only this doubt. This assignment, do we upload along with our multiple choice answer, or do we have provision to upload it?
You can upload it separately, right? So there will be. So as I said, if you just watch this video, you will understand. So here it will appear. So in this one, there will be something which says written assignment, and there will be a provision to upload the written assignment separately. Okay. So there are 16 lessons. So below it, you will get written assignment, which will be visible tomorrow. You can submit it at any time. Okay. Even if you're ready. And then there is the online will be separate. It will have only multiple choice, and you will just have to answer those. Can we write all the questions leaving no choice? If you want to, you can. Of course, it will help your understanding. Depending on the time available, we will see if we are able to evaluate everything, or we'll take the first one. Okay. First 3 and the first one. Can beginners attempt the exam? Oh, yes. It's so as I say, I mean, I don't expect much more than what was directly taught in the course. You don't need to add more details or go much more into depth. As long as you have understood what was taught in the course, you can definitely take it. Any specific length of answers expected? It's not the length as such. As I said, it is the understanding. Kiyad avagatam asti. So how well you can convey that. Say if you can create a diagram or a table or explain in words, whichever way is okay. So it's not a length as such, but it definitely needs to be not like short answers. So please don't write 2 or 3 lines. So it has to be a minimum of say 1 side for 10 marks. So 1 or 2 sides minimum. So it's not brief answers. You have to put in as much detail as is required. Assignment Shvaha Somavasarataha Ravivasarasya Madhye Datavyam va Satyam Shvaha Prataha Atra Upalabhyate Agrima Bhanuvasarat Purvam Tasya Uttaram Aropaniyam. Okay. Is there any way to download all the 16 PDFs in one shot? Yeah, I will upload it here. So after summary, or maybe we will have a complete slide deck together. I will upload. Can we have more than 45 minutes for the test? It is probably not required. As I said, it is not long at all. And I think it is enough. Let me see. Maximum 60 minutes probably, but it won't be required. It's not like too much. And the online multiple choice question is not open book. Okay, the written assignment is open book because of the details. The online assignment, online assessment, the final multiple choice exam, you are expected to write out of memory. It will not ask a specific question like say a sutra number or anything which requires memory. It will be more based on understanding. But I would request all of you to answer that one without referring to any materials. So we will stop. This session is recorded and we will upload it by tomorrow or day after. Okay. So you can go back and refer to it if required. So we will upload it. We will stop here. Uploading the first paper should be done along with the online paper. No, as I said, the written assignment can be uploaded independently. You need not wait for the online exam for it. It is not along with it, it is separate. येनाक्षर समाम्नायम् अधिगम्य महेश्वरात् कृत्स्नं व्याकरणं प्रोक्तं तस्मै पाणिनये नमः. वाक्यकारं वररुचिं भाष्यकारं पतञ्जलिं पाणिनिं सूत्रकारं च प्रणतोऽस्मि मुनित्रयम्. नत्वा सरस्वतीं देवीं शुद्धाङ्गुण्यां करोम्यहं पाणिनीय प्रवेशाय लघुसिद्धान्तकौमुदीम्. धन्यवादाः.